Hello and welcome to this hands-on lab where we are going to discuss and do hands-on on a real-world architecture on AWS. So now we have created EC2 instances, ALB and ASG. I have a question. So ALB has 3 registered EC2 instances, and let us assume that ALB has just sufficient traffic. It is handling just sufficient traffic so that these 3 EC2 instances can handle it. Okay. What if one of the EC2 instances is deemed unhealthy and ALB deregisters it? That is, the target group deregisters it. Now there are only 2 EC2 instances, but the traffic is for 3. So once again, your performance is going to go down, right? So how do we handle this scenario? How can we ensure that if an EC2 instance goes down, then another one comes in? There's a service that we have recently created for this, right? ASG. So what we need to do is we need to create a relationship between ASG and ALB so that ASG is creating EC2 instances for ALB consumption. And if an instance, so first of all, let me explain this statement. So whatever number of instances ASG creates, they are registered by ALB and load is distributed amongst. And in the event one of the instances is deemed unhealthy by ALB, that health check is valid and acceptable to ASG, and ASG literally says this to that EC2 instance, that if ALB does not need you, you are no good for me. And ASG terminates this deregistered EC2 instance, which is unhealthy, and creates another EC2 instance in its place. Why does it create it? Because if the number of EC2 instances is 3 in ASG setting, it has to be 3. If you delete one, one will appear. And this new EC2 instance will be registered by ALB because it was already down by one EC2 instance, and the relationship between ALB and ASG is such that ALB consumes all the EC2 instances that ASG creates. That is the theory. Now we have ALB, we have ASG, we have EC2 instances. Now let's first create this relationship. For that, we need to go to ASG and we need to configure ALB with auto scaling group. Good. We had earlier seen this configuration and we said we'll come back and revisit this. So we are revisiting it now. And we just need to mention the target group because the logic is simple. EC2 instances are registered at target group level, right? And ALB load, the application load balancers, listeners, they are forwarding traffic to target groups, and target groups are forwarding it to EC2 instances. So all we need to mention is the target group for the load balancer. And I think we are good. Updated. Now, we have configured. Oh, there's one more thing that we haven't done. Very important. We talked about it, and let us bring down the health check trace period. We basically need the auto scaling group to consider the load balancer's health check for termination of EC2 instances provisioned under it. Wonderful. So now we need to create a scenario wherein the ALB deems one of the instances unhealthy, and deregisters it. Then we will see that auto scaling group will terminate that instance and create another instance in its place, and the application load balancer will register that newly created instance. All this will happen, but for that we need to ensure that one of the instances is deemed unhealthy. Now, the target group is registering instances by doing health check on port 80, which is opened by security group. So if we can change the security group on one of the EC2 instances where on that security group port 80 is not open, then the health check will fail because port 80 is not open. As simple as that. Let us try and do this. Okay. So let us make this unhealthy. Nothing against it. I mean, we just had to make one of these unhealthy. Okay. Security and change security groups. Right now, launch wizard 1, which has port 80 open, we remove it, add a security group. So I already had created, when I was doing some sort of R&D, port 80 closed security group. Now this security group has no port open on inbound. We can check that. Yeah. Port 80 closed. We can see what is the inbound. Nothing. So port 80 is not open here. Okay. Add security group. And now click on save. So what have we just done here? On this instance, which ends with A82, the port 80 on this EC2 instance is not open anymore. So sooner or later, very soon, depending upon the health check timing, the health check will fail and it will go into deregistration. So I'll pause the video, and as soon as the health check fail condition comes up, I'll resume it. So it is already unhealthy because request is timing out because port 80 is not open on this EC2 instance. So now let us go back to auto scaling. It is going to be a very interesting space. We need to see when will one of these EC2 instances, which is unhealthy now, which is this one, ends with 82. Yes, it will soon start getting terminated. Okay. I'll pause the video once again, and as soon as it start getting terminated, I'll resume the video. In the meantime, at target group level, it is draining now. So it means target deregistration is happening. So no more health check is being performed. Let me refresh it once again. Yep, there was no need to pause because it is so effective, so efficient. So you see, as soon as target deregistration started happening, and in a way we can say as soon as no health check was performed because finally it was declared that it is unhealthy, there's no need to perform any more health check, this instance is being terminated by auto scaling group. But there should be one coming up as well, because yes, pending state. This is a very interesting space. I really like this space. If you really want to understand how things function under the hood, you want to be very observant here. And it will be in service very soon. And as soon as it is in service, target group will start. Oh, It is already happening, target registration. So this is getting deregistered. Draining means whatever requests it was handling, it has got that grace period to complete those requests. And the new EC2 instance is up and running in service at auto scaling group. Okay. And here it is in the process of getting registered and already healthy. So we should have 3 IPs here, yeah, 219, 51, 97. That's wonderful. That's exactly the flow we wanted to display. Great. Thank you, and looking forward to seeing you in the next exciting lessons.